Hello, and welcome back to my little podcast, J.W. Shunning. My name is Victor Jr., and today I want to focus on what really happened. Moments when I made the final decision that I wanted to leave Jehovah's organization. So if you didn't know, I am the second generation born and raised as one of Jehovah's Witness. Today, February the 4th, year 2026, my mom is still been born and raised as one of Jehovah's Witness for now almost 69 years of her life. Now, I was born and raised as one of Jehovah's Witness for almost 3 decades, nearly 28 years of my life. But now, let me ask you the question: why would anyone, including myself, would I leave what Jehovah's Witnesses like to say, leave the one and only true religion, Jehovah's organization? So, before I get into this story, this is not going to be just a one video moment. What I'm going to do in this first video, I'm going to be focusing directly where I was at and what I was thinking when I was leaving the religion. And then right after I left, and I told my mother that I no longer wanted to be one of Jehovah's Witness, I'm going to stop and we're going to get into part 2 of my videos. And of course, there's going to be a part 3, part 4, part 5. I don't know how many different videos I'm going to focus on. But what I really want to focus is, what was my life after I left the religion? You know, I'm coming up to 22 years. That's over 2 decades since I was no longer want to be Jehovah's Witness. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Now, I want you all to understand that every single thing I'm going to tell you is going to be 100% truth. There's going to be no exaggeration, no elaboration, and definitely no lies. So let's get into it. So a little brief background of myself. In the summer of 1994, that's now over 30 years ago, right before I was going to be starting my senior year of high school, the District Assembly in Tucson, Arizona, they were promoting to all us Jehovah's Witnesses. They did a public talk promoting all of us that we should not worry about going to college, not worry about going to trade school, and not even worrying about finishing high school. But we need to pioneer, because Armageddon is coming any day now, just around the corner. I believe that. And so this is directed by my Jehovah's Witness mom. She's actually the one who wanted me to drop out of high school. I dropped out of high school and start studying the old 1982 dark maroon red book, You Can Live Forever book. And then, of course, in 1996, in June, I got baptized as a Jehovah's Witness. It was 1 month before I turned 19 years of age. So now, let's fast forward to year 2003. I'm not going to make this into a long story. So I was learning on and studying to get my CDL license. Again, this is year 2003. I was 26 years of age. I was working at Sky Harbor International Airport as a rental car job. At the beginning, before I got my CDL license, I was driving a very small, like a 15-passenger bus, which you don't need to have your CDL to drive. And so, at that time, within a year and a half of studying and getting my CDL license, I met a man. It was a coworker. He was from Spain, Europe. Had a beautiful accent. We became coworker friends. Long story short, I found out he was openly gay. Now, at that time, I was struggling with homosexuality. And so, of course, me stupidly, I told my mother about this guy from Spain, telling her that he's gay. Of course, my mom knew about my struggles with homosexuality. And so, she's like, be careful, Vic. He's gay. He might have attraction with you. And, you're a baptized Jehovah's Witness. And so I was like, yeah, whatever. So long story short, me and the coworker one day, after he knew that I knew he was gay, him and I went after work. We went to a local gay bar. This is not romantic, anything. It was just a two coworker thing. We went out to a gay bar. We had some cocktails. We were done for the day. We went home. And me stupidly, I told my mother this. And of course, at that time when I was studying to get my CDL license, I was working my butt off at the airport, working 11, 12, 13 plus hours a day at the airport. And so I pretty much completely stopped going to the Kingdom Hall meetings. I wasn't going in field service anymore. I was completely an inactive Jehovah's Witness. And so I pretty much was at the point, I'm not going to do anything until I get my CDL license. And so finally, I got my CDL license. And this was in the beginning of, or sometime in year 2004. And so I got my CDL license, and fortunately, I'm not going into details, I lost my job right after I got my CDL license. So of course, my mom told me, Vic, I think you should come back to the truth. Start going to the meetings. I'll help you apply for disability. You can get welfare, food stamps, EBT, whatever you want to call it. And of course, I believed her. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. Even though I already have my CDL license. And so that's what I did. I went to my old Bethany congregation, the congregation I grew up in all my entire life since Dad was born in 1977. And I went back. My aunt belonged to that same congregation. So did my cousin Mikey. I knew all the local brothers and sisters. I was very well known in that congregation. Now, right after I started going back to the meetings, my mom was really happy about it. Here comes my mom. She informed me that I had to, since now I'm going to the meetings, getting back into the truth, you need to confess to the body of elders, or the elders themselves, what you were doing when you were inactive. That basically you were going to gay bars, you were hanging out with a coworker who was openly gay, you're going to Elks Lodge with Gina Perkins, an ex-coworker, and that you were watching and renting and buying R-rated movies. Now, of course, I didn't want to tell my mom about this, but she threatened me. Yep, she sure did. She threatened me that I had to confess what I did to these elders, and that if I didn't confess, to the elders soon that she was going to be a chismosa, a tattletale, and she will report me to the elders. And she, of course, told me that and she knew that if she told the elders about what I did, that I would definitely be disfellowshipped. And I didn't want to be disfellowshipped because we all know the dangers. If someone gets disfellowshipped, especially in the year 2004, you're going to be shunned. Then my mom's going to shun me. My dad, who's an elder, is going to shun me. My brother Beaner is going to shun me. All my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, on both sides of the family. I did not want that to happen. So finally, because my mom's threatening me, I went to the next local meeting in the Bethany congregation. I ran into Don Donner. I think he's still alive. He's like almost 80 years old. And I basically told him, Brother Donner, I was wondering, is there any way I could talk to you after the meeting today? It's kind of something important. Of course, I love that brother. I'm not making fun of him. He was the nicest elder I ever knew in my entire life. Of course, he's like, yes, absolutely. Just come see me when the meeting ends. So I was like, okay, fine. So the meeting ended. I approached that elder. And I'm pretty sure there was another elder. I think it was Brother Legier, who's now dead. Been dead a long time. And I pretty much confessed every single thing to these elders. Number one, I told them about that I, of course, was a CDL driver, a newly, what I like to call a virgin CDL license, someone who just got my CDL license. I was an airport shuttle driver, and I met a new coworker who was openly gay. I told him I went to gay bars with this coworker multiple times. I also told him that the other guy was gay, not me, of course, but the other guy who was openly gay. I told him that I was regularly, for the next X many years, going to the Elks Lodge with another coworker who was a heterosexual. And then, of course, my whole R-rated moments that I owned, I watched, I rented. I think this had a Blockbuster at that time, and did it all. So, of course, I'm not going to go into a whole long, huge story. Of course, he asked me every frickin' detailed question. Well, was he attracted to you? Were you attracted to him? Did you have an erection? I don't know if I can say that out loud. Did he have an erection on you? Did you go to his house? Did he go to your house? It just ridiculous, very personal questions. Of course, I was like, no, Brother Donner, no, he was just a coworker. He was gay, and I knew he was gay. And of course, the whole R-rated movie, he's like, how many R-rated movies do you own? Do you watch? And, of course, I told him, well, yes, I had this many X amount of R-rated movies that I owned, but Brother Donner, I almost threw almost all of them away now. I don't watch R-rated movies at all anymore. I only have like a couple left, and they're the really old ones, like the old 1979 Steve Martin, Bernadette Peters, The Jerk, and the 1980s Goldie Hawn, Private Benjamin, and the 1983 Flashdance. But I'm gonna throw all those away really soon. So the elders kind of looked at me. They also about the whole Elks Lodge thing. I told them I don't go there at all anymore. I'm not even friends with that old co-worker. So the elders looked at me, and then they pretty much said, Brother Hernandez, I need you to leave the conference room for a moment. Don't leave the Kingdom Hall, but us elders are going to talk privately for a moment. And then when we make our decision, we'll bring you back in. We'll let you know what the consequence is going to be. So I was like, okay, Brother Donner. So I left. I was nervous. I was panicking almost, thinking I'm going to get disfellowshipped. And then the brothers came out. and looked at me and said, "Brother Hernandez, come back into the conference room." Now, at that time, that whole Kingdom Hall was empty, or almost empty. And so I went in there. I think they prayed for me. And then, I might be wrong. And then they pretty much looked at me and said, "Brother Hernandez, we believe you." Now, I'm going to stop right there. Because right before I was going to confess and talk to these elders, my Jehovah's Witness mom threatened me and said that I need to tell the elders everything. If I lie, these elders are going to know because they're being directed by Jehovah's Holy Spirit. Or if I didn't tell them everything, I just gave them a little partial of what was going on, the elders also will know because, again, they are being directed by Jehovah's Holy Spirit. That's what my mom said. So, going back, the elders told me that they believed me. They believed that I stopped watching R-rated movies, that I threw almost all my R-rated movies away. I stopped renting R-rated movies at Blockbuster. I stopped going to Elks Lodge. I was no longer friends with that coworker that I used to go to Elks Lodge with. And most importantly, they believed me that I stopped associating with that gay coworker and that I stopped going to gay bars. Now, did they disfellowship me? The answer is no. Now, at that time, year 2004, social media was not invented yet. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, TikTok, YouTube, none of that was invented yet. So no one knew, not one Jehovah's Witness knew about what was going on with myself. So because it was quiet, it was a secret, the elders decided they were not going to disfellowship me, but they were not even public approve me, but private approve me. So of course I was like, "Oh, thank you, Brother Donner. Thank you, Brother Legier. I really appreciate." So the meeting pretty much ended not long after. And I don't remember if I had a car at that time or if I was in a bicycle. But I remember the moment that meeting ended, I didn't even leave the Kingdom Hall yet. And I think I did have a vehicle at that time. I went into my vehicle and I sat there at that Kingdom Hall. And this is exactly what I was thinking. I literally lied to my teeth to these body of elders. Every single thing I said to these elders was a lie. You know what? I'm still going to Elks Lodge. I'm still associating with that Elks Lodge coworker who's worldly. I didn't throw not one of my R-rated movies. I continue to watch R-rated movies. I continue to rent movies at Blockbuster. And most importantly, I was continuing to associating with that coworker who is openly gay, and him and I were still regularly going to local gay bars in Phoenix, Arizona. And these elders, who are supposed to be directed by Jehovah, they believed every single thing I said to them. Are they really being directed by Jehovah's Holy Spirit? Obviously, they weren't. So now I'm going to end this part 1 of this video, and then I'm going to be walking through the years after I left and the constant years of emotional and spiritual abuse that I had to deal with. So I hope you liked my little beginning of my story on why I really left the Watchtowers organization, because in part 2 I'm going to tell you what I really did. No, actually what I actually lied about and what I really did, why I left. I know it's not making sense, but let me tell you, you will understand when I get to part 2. Okay, thanks and have a great day.